Anytime, bro.
We are live 364 days a year.
What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
How do you not get sushi after Monday Night Raw?
Good evening from Swansea, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are watching Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. And today we are going to be talking all things WWE Saturday night's main event. It was a very noteworthy show. Jelly Roll is officially going to be having a WWE match. Jacob Fatu has returned. Seth Rollins is tragically injured. And Goldberg has retired in his retirement speech. Well, it was cut off. We're going to talk about it all and more, but before we do, we have to introduce today's panel, and let's kick things off with Clark Taylor. How are you, Clark?
I'm doing great. I mean, happy wrestling weekend. Are you kidding me? We got another show tonight, too? No way. I've been watching wrestling for hours now. I can't wait to talk about it. I can't wait to get into Saturday night's main event. Can't wait for Evolution, and I enjoyed All In. So happy Sunday, my friends.
Absolutely. It's going to be a very fun night for sure. Evolution has me hyped. It really, really does. Very quickly, an interesting fact. Today is exactly a decade from the original Women's Revolution segment. And not only that, but that exact segment took place in the exact same arena as Evolution is in tonight. Why WWE haven't made a bigger deal out of that when advertising the event, I'm not sure. But that is a absolutely fascinating, seemingly accident that has come about. But also on the show today, we have a man who is returning to the daily broadcast after a short break away. We have Chaos. How are you, Chaos?
What's good? What's good, everybody? I'm happy to be here. Yes, I had to take a little sabbatical, but yeah, it's a new day. Yes, it is. I'm back here on the Daily Show. And yeah, we have been spoiled as wrestling fans, as we all know. What a good time to be alive. And yeah, it looks like we're just getting started. So, but yeah, let's start off with obviously with Saturday night's main event, as well as everything that's been happening in the wrestling world. So yeah, I can't wait to get into it with y'all. So let's get straight to it.
Absolutely. We've got quite a few comments. We have Fernando in the chat. Shout out to you. I Make Beats, DCX Warlord. Shout out to each and every single one of you. We have to talk about Seth Rollins' injury. Last night, of course, he did a springboard. He rolled. He seemingly tweaked something in his knee when he rolled and landed. Then he did a moonsault, landed back on the knee, and he was in absolute agony. You could see it. He then got up quickly. The match finished. LA Knight defeated him. He rolled out the ring, and fans recorded him saying the F word repeatedly to himself. He was absolutely fuming. The immediate reaction online was this a work? Seth Rollins has that Money in the Bank briefcase. He can cash it in at any time. Faking an injury would be perfectly logical. Here is the thing. Here is what I will say. We have heard that it is not a work. Everybody around the situation is saying that it is not a work. So if it is a work, then basically everybody is being lied to. Only a couple of people would know if that is the case, and a lot of people would be upset, right? Because if you're starting to lie to medical staff, I mean, they're probably not going to be too happy. Who knows? Anything can happen with wrestling. But seemingly, Seth Rollins is out, and considering that not only he has missed the Money in the Bank, but he is also basically the face of Monday Night Raw at this point, Clark, this is likely going to be a big, big issue for WWE.
Yeah, this is sketchy. It's tough. And I feel bad for Seth, considering I'm pretty confident he hurt something, given the way that he looked. My best wishes, because like you don't want to see anybody go down with a freak knee injury like that. The hard part here is, what do we do now? Especially if we're all under the assumption it's not a work, and he obviously is significantly injured. How does this affect the booking of the first ever 2-night SummerSlam? Of Survivor Series down the road here, Thanksgiving weekend in San Diego. There's so much on tap, and Seth was such a huge part of it, programming wise, especially week in and week out. He's dominating the main event scene with promos with Heyman alongside the Braun and Bronson combo and all of that. Where do we go from here? If what I think we all kind of agree on happened is true, right? If he's out with if he felt something pop and he's yelling the F word on the way back up the ramp, that sounds like something tore. And that's 6 to 8 months. I mean, you could almost run out of time with the contract is the worst part. That's the scary part about this, but I wish the absolute best because Seth is an amazing performer and I just feel awful for him, right? I'm kind of gutted for him.
Absolutely. I mean, the worst part is as well, this is the exact same knee which he has injured twice before, right? He's injured both his ACL and MCL on that knee. So this has been massively repaired, and obviously re-injuring and existing injuries never, ever, ever good. Hopefully it is a work to I make beats point, but again, as far as we know, it would be really hard to keep this one a secret the way that it has been. The one thing I will say, and obviously this is not a positive, but one thing which they could turn this into a potential positive is the fact that he does have this money in the bank briefcase. He could be the first person to ever return from a long-term injury by cashing in the money in the bank briefcase and becoming the champion. That has never been seen before, and he literally could do the heist of the century 2.0, the exact same thing once again.
This is my only fear on that, Ben, but then you have to keep him off TV to make it that big of a surprise. And what do you do with Braun, Bronson, and Paul Heyman for all that time?
Well, that's the thing. They have Paul Heyman.
It's true. But
he
like what, a tag role?
Yeah. I think that's, I mean, it's not ideal, is it? It's obviously not ideal, but I think that is the best, you can really do with it right now. At least you have Heyman. I mean, that's what people were saying about this faction too. You had Heyman and Rollins, two fantastic mouthpieces. So now one's gone, you still have the other, and both Braun and Bronson, I think, could pick up the pieces. But Chaos, I want to get your perspective on all of this situation. What will WWE do? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this is bad timing, and WWE has clearly caught the injury bug, at the worst time possible, and this couldn't have happened at the worst person than the Money in the Bank holder. And like you said, I was going to say, but you said it already that it's the same knee that he tore it, in 2015, and he tweaked it a couple times. So yeah, he's clearly has some problems with this. Do I think it's a work? 110% no. I feel like, I think the only reason people might think it was a work because no one really saw the dreaded X sign being shown up. Obviously you saw the doctors and you see him whispering, but they also turned off the mics as well with the cameras, so you didn't see what he was really saying to Paul Heyman or the doctors or the ref. And then you could see it was a rust finish. And then afterwards, you even saw LA Knight swearing. He was trying to stay in character, but he was just like saying, damn, this, on one hand, they can't say it was his fault, heat or anything like that. It's just one of those freak accidents, but that's what seems to be the theme lately with freak accidents regarding, wrestlers, unfortunately. I mean, I see what you guys mean. Say, maybe Paul Heyman could probably carry this until, whenever Seth recovers. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it might not even be that bad. But I just feel like when you might have Heyman and he's a great talker and all that kind of stuff, but when they try to do that, when it was with the bloodline, when Roman Reigns was gone, and after he lost the title, sure, obviously Heyman was there, but it definitely felt like second fiddle, because obviously you see Solo was trying to emerge, and he was bringing all these kind of people. He didn't really feel like he had that much power. And like I said, I feel like even though you do have Heyman, but without Seth, the thing with obviously Braun and Bronson, I don't know, it just feels like it doesn't feel like a complete unit, like something is missing. You kind of need to have. So that's why I don't think I see what you guys mean about Heyman, but I don't think it's going to work or be taken as seriously without the visionary, the Money in the Bank holder. You can't really complete that whole storyline without him. So yeah, something's got to give it. I think he might have to lose it, or like the whole team disband.
Oh wow.
Yeah, something has to happen because
Yeah, maybe he could even do, and I had this idea earlier. I don't necessarily like the idea, but I just had it earlier. Maybe he comes out on Monday, says, I'm now injured, but I said you two were the future of WWE. Well, one of you needs to step up at SummerSlam. Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, friendly fire winner gets my Money in the Bank briefcase.
I like that. That's something. That's something refreshing. 110%. You might not like it, but I definitely like it. A friendly battle between the two, and then that's because you know that of them two, Braun is definitely going to be world heavyweight champion at some point. Out of them two, you know. So what better way to do it? Like till 90, and he's over like crazy right now. Sure, it might speed up his push, but yeah, why not? I'm down for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely keep him with Paul as well. And definitely keep them together too. Don't just abandon the faction. But I do think, to be fair, I do think you're right, Chaos, right? If they just have them as a tag team with Paul Heyman, there is, unless you're going to give them the tag team titles quite quickly, there is a significant risk that it is just going to feel filler.
Exactly.
So you might have to just push one of them a bit harder than the other and then wait for Seth Rollins to come back to pick up the pieces or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. But
fingers crossed for Seth. Hopefully it's not as bad. Maybe just keep him out for a couple of weeks or something, or just see how it goes. But if it is like, you know, a proper tear or anything like that, it's just worst timing. But yeah, best wishes to Seth.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that I fear was that when he did that original role, where that is very clearly, after watching it quite a few times, where the injury happened. It's how he landed then was what happened when the knee went in, and because he then stumbled. Mm-hmm. I wonder is if he didn't then do the moonsault after, and of course we're not going to know yet, but I wonder if that moonsault was what made it a lot worse, and that's why he was swearing to himself, because he was like angry at himself, you could tell. Not just the injury, he was like annoyed at himself.
Also, the look on his face was a little bit of fear, I think. And Chaos brought up a great point earlier. It may not be as bad as we think, hopefully. Especially considering it's the reconstructed knee. The fear sets in when you had an injury, and it starts to hurt in that area again, no matter what. Yeah. And you could just see that look on his face, right? And the frustration. My hope would be maybe it's just a real bad sprain, right? Or a partial or something more manageable than just he shredded the same knee again.
I also think that I definitely don't think that LA Knight was meant to win that match. It didn't really make sense for him to kind of win it. But yeah, that is a crazy audible. But yeah, I feel like Seth was definitely meant to win it, but it just just rush to the finish and getting back as soon as possible.
Absolutely. I will say, though, the one thing which I think WWE, if this is a bad case injury now, do need to change is I think they need to say to performers, and it is hard in the minute when the adrenaline is flowing. But if you think that potentially you've just suffered a knock, don't do a high-risk move, because it is called high risk for a reason. Because that's my fear about it. And adrenaline's a crazy thing. That's what happened there, clearly. But it's just so sad. Of course, Liv Morgan out as well at the minute. The same situation where she went to the apron, had that look of panic. You are right. And we lost Adam Cole and Seth in the same night.
I thought there was a bit of luxury in it being Saturday night's main event, because the way the camera cuts and commercials went, I don't think you ever saw an X thrown up, but there might have been an X. There was an opportunity.
Apparently, there wasn't in the arena, but I don't think you even needed to have it because the doctor was right there.
Right.
I mean, the doctor, the X is called over the doctor. The doctor was there already. So I don't know if any, I think the X now has almost become a little bit of a gimmick thing within wrestling.
Yeah,
if an X happens,
it's actually frustrating.
Work. Yeah. But up next, we need to talk about Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre, because Jelly Roll and Logan Paul got into it on the outside. Drew McIntyre was very, very distracted by Jelly Roll for some reason. It cost him the match. RKO, Randy Orton wins. After the match, Jelly Roll was beating up Logan Paul. Drew McIntyre Claymore to Jelly Roll. After the match on WWE social medias, it was confirmed at SummerSlam it will be Randy Orton teaming up with Jelly Roll to take on Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. And I hate this. I hate everything about this. Not even because it's Logan Paul and Jelly Roll in a tag team match. I actually have no issue with that. We've seen celebrity stuff before. I understand it, right? It's good business. My issue is Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton being the one involved. Put younger talents in these positions so they can get the spotlight, so you can help build wrestlers in your own company, not waste the time of veterans. Randy Orton and McIntyre deserve to be in big programs heading into SummerSlam, especially when they weren't in big programs heading into WrestleMania. But not only that, but Drew McIntyre teaming with Logan Paul goes against literally everything that Drew McIntyre has said and done over the last 18 months. He's told absolutely fantastic storylines, and recently, in fact, since WrestleMania, it's kind of felt like we're just throwing them away, and it frustrates me, Clark. It really does.
I couldn't disagree more. So we just talked about how freak injuries can happen all of the time. So if you're going to have Jelly Roll involved in this storyline, as well as Logan Paul, you need to bring absolute veterans to ensure safety. That's just a fact. That's the nature of the beast there. Not only that, Drew McIntyre is neighbors with Jelly Roll in Nashville, and we all know that. That's a fact. They've been spotted in Nashville together multiple times. The comfortability factor is important here when it comes to this booking decision. Randy Orton is one of the best, if not the best, to ever do it in the ring. So we'll be just fine when it comes to that. I love this. You know why? Because we have all these celebrity crossovers all the time, all this different stuff. Jelly Roll is a real fan, just like Logan Paul proved himself to be, just like Bad Bunny proved himself to be. If we're going to do celebrity crossover, Jelly Roll loves the WWE. He was in Nashville this week. He was in Atlanta this week. He'll travel for it. He's here for it. He's committed. The man's lost 200 pounds. Get in the ring. He's one of the most famous, hottest artists on the planet. Put him opposite Logan Paul because they're opposites. And I dig that. Drew McIntyre's got to explain, to your point, why he's paired now with Logan Paul. I get that. That's the one thing I absolutely can relate with. But I'm really excited about this one. If we're going to continue with the celebrity crossover stuff, I'm all cool with this one.
I, to your point, could not disagree more with you there, Clark. Because let's not act, right, like the young stars on WWE's main roster are inexperienced. They're not. If you put Carmelo Hayes in the position of Drew McIntyre, which is what I would have done, in fact, would have even made sense to still have Randy Orton in it if you really wanted to include him. Bang! Carmelo Hayes is getting more eyes on him. He is getting a moment at SummerSlam, but Drew McIntyre can be in a big storyline. He has been snubbed in basically every single major storyline he's been given.
This will have the most crossover social media action when it comes to mainstream stuff.
Logan Paul and Jelly Roll are
involved.
That
what do you mean? How is this not going to have eyeballs
Damian
on it?
Priest, didn't it? Tons for them.
What do you mean? How Damian Priest won the world title after he wrestled Bad Bunny?
Yeah, because they Judgment Day. That was like 2 years later.
Oh, because of Judgment Day. Now it's wait, we got qualifiers.
It was more because of Judgment Day than it was because of Bad Bunny, right? And even then, there was a better link. I like Damian Priest there. He's a younger star. Damian Priest worked, right?
It worked perfect.
It did work, but he was exactly what I'm saying. A younger, newer star. It got eyes on him.
He's 38.
Okay, newer star on the main roster then, whatever. When I bring up age, apparently I'm being ageist.
Yeah.
But, no,
now you're trying to reverse age Damian Priest.
Roundhead's on my side. He's saying Ben's talking straight facts. Fernando's saying post wrestlers, not celebrities.
It's starting to feel... It's starting to feel like the music show because you got Cardi B as the host. Now you got Jelly Roll. I mean, like, what the hell's going? What are we doing here? Like,
is it Grammys crossover? That's kind of
what I'm saying. And I'm saying, look, I'm not against having this the odd celebrity match on the show. You know, obviously we had Bad Bunny, and there's been some exceptions to the rule. But as much as you could be a fan all you want, I don't buy you trying to you all of a sudden, you know, Jelly Roll, who used to be flipping the size of a flipping mansion, and now it's because he's lost weight. What he wants to take on Drew McIntyre. Like, give me a break, bro. Like,
his
come on.
Name is after a donut.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you
I
know,
mean,
you
come
come
on.
in with this music, and 9 times out of 10, people like you. I'm sorry, you're up there with what's that? What's the other guy? Is it Harry? What's his name? What's the other one? He performed at the Royal Rumble, and no one cared for his performance.
Hardy, that was a bad
Hardy.
booking. That was
That's what I'm
bad.
saying.
That was
And
not
no
good.
one, like, no one cares about your stuff. Like,
Like
you know, I have my TV on mute whenever you perform. Like, as much as I know he's a good guy. You know, he's he's one of the biggest artists out there. But you're not a Bad Bunny. Not my secretary said. Not everyone can be Bad Bunny. And you know,
I agree.
It's just it's not.
I don't even hate the idea of seeing it, right? But if you're going to do it, you have to benefit, you know, future talent or something. Put Carmelo Hayes in that situation. Drew McIntyre has been just a guy to help other guys for way too long. Even giving him that world title at WrestleMania, you gave him his moment for what, 5 seconds? And then it was Damian Priest's moment.
Yeah. Also, that thing with Randy Orton, when, you know, after the King of the Ring, after he lost, and you see him seething and, you know, looking like, you know, oh shit, there's that heel turn coming. And now he's resorting to this being like part of a celebrity match. Like, what's going on with that little thing with Cody? Like, something's got to give. Like, it's just weird to just, yeah, I agree with you. Like, I feel bad for Orton and McIntyre in this situation. They've been, you know, but hey, them's the breaks. It's unfortunate.
It's a complete mess right now. And I feel like WWE, I mean, I said this the other day too, but I'll say it again. WWE is currently in a situation where it feels like creative is not being thought out very far at all. And I think part of that reason is the amount of events, but probably part of it is all these celebrities getting involved as well.
So who do you think this is the call? Do you think this is Triple H's call? Or is this a TKO call?
It's probably a TKO call, but I don't think Triple H will be against the call. I think, but I think the bigger issue is they got too many events. Yeah. And because of that now, it's going off topic a bit, but it is bothering me.
Overset. Oh my God.
Literally. I think oversaturation is just how to describe WWE right now. Roundhead saying, is there going to be an Evolution watch along? Unfortunately, there is not tonight. We will be back for the next pay-per-view, but we weren't able to get one done for today. But we do enjoy doing them. Up next, let's talk a little bit. Actually, before we do that, I need to talk to you guys about something which I'm a huge fan of, and that is Etsy. If you guys have not downloaded the Etsy app, what on earth are you doing? Because you can join it, and usually every weekend we have either Clark or Aunt You on there, and it's an opportunity for you guys to argue with them. You can join the call. It's not just a live stream. You can get involved too. You can turn it into a call. You can have a go at Clark for trying to complain about Cody Rhodes' tie clips. It's a lot of fun. Make sure to download the Etsy app and head to the upcoming stream section on it. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the Wrestling Republic Undercard channel, make sure to check it out. Exclusive clips, plus sold separately, plus grappling for position. A lot is going on over there. Make sure you are not missing out. Now, let's get back to talking about Saturday night's main event, because Jacob Fatu returned. We had Solo Sikoa. It says Solo Sikoa versus Tama Tonga on the graphic.
Oh,
that
boy.
is actually very incorrect. It was Solo Sikoa versus Jimmy Uso. Tama Tonga's not even around.
Good for Tama, though. Monster shout out.
He's returned, does he? He's returned with Jacob Fatu.
So back.
That's hilarious.
Whoops.
Somebody
Right, anyway.
the artist guy. Goddamn.
The worst part is that's the second day in a row we've had to make that exact same joke, because I messed up yesterday too. But Solo Sikoa versus Jimmy Uso. This match was fine. It did its job. Nothing special. But it was what was after the match which was mostly noteworthy. Jacob Fatu returned, and I was really bothered by this. And the reason I was really bothered is because he basically just let them beat up Jimmy flipping heck, I'm messing up all the names. Jimmy Uso before he made the save. They beat him down for like 2 minutes. They hit the spike on him, and then Jacob Fatu made the save. I mean, the dude just lost his voice by now. Completely and utterly pointless. But Chaos, what were your thoughts?
Meh. Yeah, it was like, you know, there was no threat, you know, to Solo Sikoa's championship run. I feel like ultimately this is probably going to go back to Jacob just to build up his stats. Yeah, it was what it was. I mean, it was, it felt like something that you could easily see on SmackDown. It was not the one thing I was happy though. I don't think there was that many ad breaks. I could be wrong. But yeah, on the plus side, it was just something that you could easily see being the main event of a random episode of SmackDown. It was by the numbers. Not to say that it wasn't good. It was solid, but yeah, nothing to write home about. And I agree. The run in was. It's that running joke of when people do their entrance and they're too busy posing and doing a little creep to the stage before they start helping their friend out. But this was just a different way of portraying that. But yeah, I just want to be fair. I feel bad, but I just feel so bad. I just feel bad in saying it. I'm already over this MFT group. I don't think it's hitting like ever since like obviously the Bloodline saga is officially wrapped and done. Yeah, this whole thing about that I don't even like the new guy, the former Hikuleo guy. I just feel like he's just stiff as hell. It's not intimidating. Like he doesn't have that Jacob Fatu-esque essence about him like that when we was first introduced to him. Half the time I forget that Tama Tonga's there. If that's his name, what's the one that botches a lot? Him. Anyway, so. It was what it is. I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet. It was by the numbers. The outcome was gonna be exactly what we predicted. Yes, that was a jab at Jeff Hardy's AEW debut, but it was like another way of putting it. But yeah, it's what it was.
But the one thing I will just completely agree with you on the point about Solo Sikoa Chaos, right? Because I was really liking it when I was starting to think they were turning him heel. In Money in the Bank, where Jacob Fatu turned on him in that entire match, he was just being a comedy character. I thought he's going to be a great heel now to go up against Jacob Fatu. He's going to lose to Jacob Fatu, and then he is going to start transitioning into a babyface and is going to reunite with the Usos. Even though I don't hate this new group as much as I think you do, even still, I would have preferred to see that. Solo Sikoa as a babyface, and I got heat for saying this, but I'll say it again, I do think could be the next Sami Zayn. I think that he is that funny and likable.
Okay, yeah. I don't know about Sami Zayn, but I do see that obviously, he's a meme machine. Like, you see them, those was it core video? I can't remember what the name is, but yeah, like there's a whole reel of him doing this funny stuff, and yeah, like he's definitely up there. So I agree.
We got Universal in the comments. Shout out to you. We got numero 1 saying, please add more Tongas to the group and have like 100 Tongas in the group. Just
my goodness.
I mean, all of them.
Was that group in ECW? And Lucio was in it.
And the FBI.
FBI, yeah, just do that. And it's like little and it's big, and then there was like all these.
I knew it as soon as you said it. I was like the full-blooded Italians.
Do that.
We've got Drissy in the comments. Shout out to you. Fernando says it was solid. Numero 1 says, although the US was predictable, Jimmy Uso looked like a top contender. Give Jimmy more opportunities like this. That is where I agree with you.
They got to stop calling him Jay first. They got to stop calling him Jay. He did it twice last night. What's up with that? Look, Jay. Like, it's the ropes. Like, no, that's the other one.
I didn't even notice that. That is awful.
Did twice. It was so bad. It was like, oh, shoot. That's the wrong Uso.
I Make Beat says, where is Tama Tonga? Good point. I really, really do not know.
He's injured, ain't he?
Yeah, he's been injured for like a year now.
What? And no, he hasn't. No, not that far. Because it was LA Knight that injured him out, wasn't it? I know it feels like a year, but I think he injured him just before Mania.
Oh, never mind. You're right.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot longer.
No. It was just before Mania. LA Knight took him out backstage.
Oh, I completely forgot about that. Anyway, moving on. We are going to finally talk about Goldberg's retirement match. Goldberg has officially retired, and a lot of people were predicting that this match was going to be very short, only a couple of minutes, a couple of spears, a couple of chops, and that would be all it is. But it went a lot longer than that. It went over 10 minutes. It was one of Goldberg's longest matches, I think, in recent memory, if not ever. But to be honest with you, I was not very surprised. Gunther prefers that longer style of match, and it was fine. It did its job. Was it fantastic? No, but it was fine. What I am bothered about is what happened after the match, because it immediately went to an ad break. It then went back to Goldberg. Goldberg took the mic, started cutting his retirement speech, and only 30 seconds into it, they cut the feed, they cut the broadcast. And I understand you have a hard out. I get that. But you knew that when you handed him the mic. You should have made more time for him on the show to have that speech if that was part of the plan. It is ridiculous. And something new which has happened, honestly, in the last 6 months or so, is media, mainstream, if you want to call them that, like news outlets and stuff, reach out to me for a comment or insight when certain big things in wrestling happen. It is usually either Vince McMahon related or like WrestleMania related or something like that. Several people today reached out about Goldberg's retirement speech being cut off. That is how big of a deal this is. This is being run as like a big news story. I think BBC News covered it this morning. It is absolutely wild to me. And I mean, to be honest with you, despite what you might think about Goldberg, I think this is downright disrespectful. Clark, what's your take on this one?
That was brutal. I'm with you. I'm afraid he actually also, a lot of people thought he was selling the knee. If you slow it down and look at the jackhammer, I think he shredded his hamstring too. So he's out there cutting a promo, injured after a goofy finish, and you hit the commercial break as soon as the finish happens, and nobody really has any idea if they're going to be back because we know there's a hard out. And only on Peacock they bring him back, and just for 30 seconds. If you watched it on cable in America on NBC, and don't get me wrong, I love Round Ball Rock and NBA on NBC from the 90s as much as anybody, but NBC is notorious for stuff like this, cutting the hard out no matter what. Even the actual cable broadcast didn't even show as much as Peacock did. You didn't even get that far, and it's mind-numbing to me. I gotta give Goldberg monster credit, though. He absolutely did his very best at his age in this one. We know what Goldberg has always been and who he is. Charles Robinson catching the spear. Ernest the Cat Miller being in his entourage when he walks out for the last time. Things like that took the 90s kid in me and made me happy. And that is all I can ask for a retirement match for somebody that, gave a lot to the business, whether you like him or not. In the 90s, Goldberg was Goldberg. And we got as close as we could get last night. I think he deserved better, as you mentioned before, when it comes to his personal statement. But the guy did his best. And I got to give him credit. And I have to give Gunther credit as well, because, man, was he excellent in that match. He was the perfect foil. He was the perfect foe. And I loved it. Not to put the tinfoil hat on real quick, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think the finish might have changed given our first topic of the day. I think things may have been a coach different, and we may have had to do some things on the fly. And that's my personal belief. I think that's the way it was meant to go down, not the way it did. I think Seth was going to be involved in that. I think the Money in the Bank briefcase was going to be involved in the finish of this match initially. And I think that no longer became a choice. So we got the match we got last night, and it was good enough for me. I'm cool with that.
I mean, fair enough on that one, and I could potentially see Seth Rollins' injury, potentially a planned cash-in or something like that, affecting things. There is a comment here saying that Universal is saying the retirement speech wasn't scheduled for TV. Relax, guys. It was scheduled for their website.
When did they schedule it? It wasn't scheduled, period. Like, what do you mean?
Well, here's the thing about it. Even if it was scheduled for WWE.com after the fact, my issue is, well, why on earth did you go to the ad break and then bring it back? Okay, I mean, either you just really, really messed up the ad breaks really badly, in which case it's WWE's fault, or WWE could have just kept it on Gunther winning for 30 more seconds and then gone to the ad break and then finished the show. in which case it's still WWE's fault. Either way, it's WWE's fault in this situation.
Yeah.
I there's no excuse for me. Bret Hart, I'm sure, is
the way,
happy at Trizzy's point.
My favorite
Only
is
one
that
happy
Universal that guide me, as if he doesn't watch the show and knows my name.
Oh, all that guy said is 100% wrong. I mean,
I'm Clark. Nice to meet you, Universal.
the injury might be wrong, but other than that, I agree with you on it. But numero one is saying it was a good main event. I did laugh a little bit that they cut off Goldberg's speech. Maybe payback for taking issue with others using the spear. I feel
you got
bad
Charles
for
Robinson. Mini Flair took the best spear of the night.
I feel bad. I still do. Chaos, what did you think about this entire match?
Yeah, I mean the match itself was fine. You know, Gunther definitely tried his best to make Goldberg look good. You could see that Goldberg was not in the greatest shape. I mean, he looked good, like physique wise, but you could tell, like, you know, even from his entrance, he had a slight limp. Obviously, he had the brace, and he said previously that his knees jacked up from doing the spear and all that kind of stuff. So there were, you know, everything was catching up to him, you know, at his age. But yeah, Gunther did try his best to make Goldberg look as a potential threat to his world championship. I'm happy that, you know, that he's not like a transitional champion, and, you know, who knows, maybe if the injury to Seth, he might have played a part in this main event. But yeah, that's, you know, we just have to wait and see if they will ever know that. But yeah, the match was fine for what it was. And yeah, regarding the cutoff, I mean, I think Goldberg did know that he was about to get cut off, because I saw from a fan camera's perspective, one of the cameramen was actually signaling to him saying, all right, here's a countdown before we go off, 3, 2, 1, and then he was gone. And so I think he was able to have enough time to finish a sentence, and then obviously the cameras kept on rolling for him to do his full speech. So he did know that he was gonna go off. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if this was a Triple H move. The guy is so petty, and you could tell even back when he showed up at Bad Blood, and you could see in Triple H's face, he just does not care for Goldberg. He just didn't want this thing to happen between him and Gunther, but he had to obviously make this happen. This was the promise that he was given when, you know, who was in charge for him to have, you know, that one final match. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that was a slight dig to Goldberg, you know, from Triple H. But yeah, it is what it is. It was fine for what it was. It's way better than whatever cluster we got at where it was Undertaker and Goldberg. So it's a nice match for him to ride off into the sunset, pair them up with the best person. And yeah, thank you for the last 28 years, Goldberg. You know, there's been some highs, there's definitely been some lows. The Fiend, anyone. But yeah, it's it was fun while it lasted. And yeah, I'm happy. So thank you, Goldberg, for all the memories. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
I cannot see it being Triple H. No way is Triple H gone there. Let's cut off this man's retirement speech.
You saw what he did to Sting, right?
We're pivoting.
You did see what he did to Sting, right?
That. He's made that clear.
Trips doesn't love WCW.
He might not, but even still, I don't believe. I honestly believe that what actually happened here was very simply that they went to commercial too early.
Yeah, no, there's definitely been some jack up with the ad breaks, 100%. But if there was an opportunity, Triple H would definitely flip and take it, because that's just how it is.
We also can't forget, when it comes to the ad breaks thing, NBC's on a different like
100%.
58 is going to commercial, and they don't care if it's the WWE or it's whatever show is on the thing. It doesn't matter.
So you have to look around that,
and that's where it gets funky. I also think, just while we're here, is a missed opportunity. 2 Atlanta guys. We talk about spears. Best spear going right now, Braun Breaker. We all know it. Guess where he's from? Also Atlanta. We had the opportunity. You're talking about putting young people over. We had the opportunity to have Braun Breaker deliver a spear to Goldberg sometime around his retirement. That stone unturned.
That's Triple H's final dig at
Braun Breaker away from him.
Just having during the retirement speech, Braun Breaker. No reason.
Watch this spear.
He's like he's launching from the entrance ramp. That's how far he's just launching, just going straight to the ring.
Oh, that's where I think the Seth injury. I think the plan may have been.
Yeah, Goldberg could have won and lost that same night probably.
I don't think that was. I think it went exactly the way that it planned. Apart from, I reckon this match was meant to go about 5 minutes shorter. It went 5 minutes longer because of LA Knight and Rollins being cut short. I reckon that's the only change it made to this situation. Because if Rollins was going to cash in, I think Roman Reigns would have returned. And of course, Roman Reigns didn't return. So I don't reckon. Think about it now. I think the plan was always for Rollins to maybe try something tonight and for Roman to return. Sorry, tomorrow night and for Roman to return tomorrow night. But before I stumble over my words anymore, I do want to read out some of these comments. I Make Beat says, Goldberg, Goldberg. I will always miss that chant. It is a good one. Drizzy says, shout out to Ernest the Cat Miller in the entrance. Absolutely. Christopher Leclerc says that he was happy when Goldberg beat the Fiend.
The hell's wrong with you, boy? I should come over there and slap the taste out your mouth. I'm joking. No, don't say that. That was I was absolutely seething, when that happened. That was absolutely terrible. Like that was the worst thing that could have happened to the Fiend. The worst thing that could have happened during those Saudi shows. And yeah, I'm sorry, I can't agree with you. That was absolutely ridiculous. But that's Vince for you.
I Make Beats laughing in the comments. I Make Beats also saying that he can't see Goldberg taking that top rope Frankensteiner. Oh, that would have been funny.
He would die. I'm sorry. Yeah, you would die.
I mean, even still, I don't know. Personally, I still wish that it was Bron Breakker versus Goldberg as his last match, but
the battle of the
great
spears.
Final. Yeah, that's what all it would have been. But Gunther, reliable, safe. That's exactly what this was at the end of the day. Nothing special. But that does bring us, guys, to the end of the show. Thank you, Clark. Thank you, Chaos, for joining me here today. We will be back the same time, same place tomorrow to talk to you guys about WWE Evolution. Have a fantastic night and enjoy the show.